Because those people are really into Destiny.
I did play it and I did enjoy it. It was a good feeling game.
It feels great. Yes, you're very right about that.
Solid.
Yeah, but I just do feel like I'm running too much. I'm just running. I'm just holding down the shift key for most of the game.
To me, literally perfect. Oh, go on.
Literally, the only part of Destiny that they seem to have kept from Halo at Bungie was the gunplay. That's it. That's the only part that still feels like Halo.
It's just it makes me want to play Halo, which is weird. Cause
Yeah, because you're playing a separate franchise, and then you're supposed to.
For me,
exactly, you're supposed to want to play this franchise.
I'm so scared. I'm so scared about Infinite. If it lets me down, because it's finally coming back. Yeah, because it's finally coming back to PC, and hopefully they learned their lesson with 5. Because the multiplayer was fantastic. It was just a campaign that was shit.
Yeah, I'm really excited, but I'm also scared.
Yeah.
I mean, at least we know we won't have another same boss fight 3 fucking times.
Actually, I still need to play through 5. I have not looked at anything, but I just keep hearing all disappointment in the campaign, and I love Halo campaign.
Go in expecting the worst campaign of the franchise with the length of ODST and expecting fantastic multiplayer, and you'll be fine.
I think I just played multiplayer in that case.
Yeah, just play multiplayer, you're fine. I will say you can play the first maybe 2 missions of the story, and if you still like it, it might be worth finishing out. Because I remember at least the first mission being fun.
I guess that's a good praise. That's the nicest thing I've heard of the campaign.
That's so sad.
I don't know. BChan can tell you this because he listens to me so damn much. But I'm very good about managing my expectations. So I always say if you go in expecting X, then it'll be good. If you go in expecting Y, then it won't be.
Right.
So I didn't go in expecting, because Halo 4 was fine, but it wasn't amazing to me. So that's what I went into 5 expecting.
That's probably the healthiest way to go in. This is for me actually. When it came to Destiny games, I played the beta for the first one, and then it was free on PSN Plus, and I decided to try it out. Knowing just how much DLC bullshit is going on, and I had fun. To me, it was the best podcast game where I'm actually listening to a podcast I'm more interested in, but my hands are doing something and I'm playing the game.
It's kind of like crocheting.
Like what?
It's like crocheting.
Where you have
it's like crocheting.
Yeah. You're listening to something else.
Yeah. So it's a video game.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I usually play single player games for that. Because I can do them entirely at my own pace. So if I want to pause it and listen to whatever I'm listening to or watching, I can do that.
For me,
actually, that's why I've been playing They Are Billions lately.
What is that game, by the way? I've seen you playing that a lot. I think a lot of streamers are playing that now too.
It's an RTS smashed together with a tower defense game.
Which one?
And it's They Are Billions. It's a zombie survival tower defense / RTS game. It's a ton of fun. I would highly recommend it.
I think I had the game. It's
I've already gotten 180 hours into it, and it doesn't even have campaign yet. It's still in early access.
$3, right?
What?
No, but it's not much. It's 20 or less.
Or maybe I got it on sale for $3.
Dom, I want to ask for your recommendation again. What should I be expecting before jumping into this game?
Basically, the film World War Z?
Yeah.
Expect that from the perspective of RTS / tower defense.
Oh no. Dom, have you read the book World War Z? This is a tangent, but have you read the book World War Z?
Yeah, it's nothing like the movie.
Yeah, same. They should have just called it something else.
The film was good if you didn't expect it to be that.
Exactly. They should have just called it something else. It was a good film, but
yeah, just be like Brad Pitt v Zombies.
V Zombies, yeah.
The film, and you would have been fine.
The film,
for a quick summary for you two, Basically, the book is a series of like, almost like an anthology of how different areas and groups around the world survived the zombie outbreak, like different militaries and stuff like that. Whereas the film was just an action film with zombies around, and that was the film.
But don't forget Brad Pitt.
With Brad Pitt.
Yeah, the only good part that came from that, in terms of comparing it to the book, was the zombies did move. Like they were animated like they were described in the book.
Yeah.
Like as a mob that was almost a living.
Yeah, but the logic of the plague is still somewhat questionable.
Somewhat questionable is giving it way more credit than it deserves. I am a writer and I would shoot myself before publishing that film.
Yeah, it's kind of like, hey, children and sick people don't get run over by these infected, because what do these infected people think they are? They are weak, so they don't deserve to be
apparently attacked. No one fucking knew that before Brad Pitt looked at a fucking crowd and just made a basic observation. And he was apparently
I'm
the
a
first
scientist
to do that.
I do science and I observe.
You can see the deductive reasoning clicking in his head.
Yes. The 200 IQ, college degree, PhD mindset that he has over all the people in the world.
I'm writing right now, and I'm trying to figure out a way to basically make different types of magic balanced. And so one of the things I just tackled was how to make seeing into the future balanced from a storytelling perspective.
Oh.
And
for your the story you're writing, right?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Unpredictability.
Sure. But you need to have something that's unpredictable, but that makes sense. You can't just be like, okay, so Doctor Strange is good at magic, so he can just magic the gauntlet off Thanos' hand. Like, that doesn't work, even though he is a magician. There needs to be, like, a certain power scaling.
I think it's like a magic system. I've seen some videos on this. Like, some of them are really, really technical, hard-based, and some of them are more loose, like Harry Potter's magic system.
Yeah, that's a great example of a very loose one.
Yeah, like Magica versus Harry Potter.
Oh, yeah, Magica is a great example. I fucking love that game. That game is amazing. Yeah, my favorite book series and stuff like by Brandon Sanderson, but my favorite book series is the Dresden Files by Jim Butcher. And he is very careful about establishing this is the system that magic works within. And yeah, there are areas that, it can do crazy things you don't expect, but it's at the cost of something you can understand. Like maybe someone can do a spell that's way above their pay grade, but they have to die to make it happen. And they're literally using their life force to fuel the spell.
Oh. Risk or reward. I feel like that's
risk reward.
That's what makes something compelling. It doesn't feel like you have risk and reward in Harry Potter when they cast spells from their wand. It doesn't have that whatsoever, except for maybe one or two spells.
So on the gaming, this is Discord. On the gaming chat, I've just put a link on this thing on how to make a hard magic system, and it cites all these other pieces of media that involve risks and costs for magic. I would actually recommend
Film Alchemist makes a lot.
Full Metal is great for this. I would also say look at The Dragon Prince, which is a Netflix show. Made from the guys that made the original Avatar, and recently rejected me on a job. It's okay. I'm not surprised.
But yeah, all of the examples they bring up in that video, which I will watch because it's worth it, are good examples. I find a lot of Eastern fiction is better about that than Western fiction, just because they're more likely to explain power scaling.
I'm glad you guys didn't catch me the wrong day, because I have a bad history of going just very. I get angry at Harry Potter's magic system.
That's such a funny thing to get angry over.
I want to know.
Why are you mad today? Oh, I had a bad day at work.
Where does it come from?
Part of
is it just magic? Is it like no? I just hate the argument. Like can't do it. They just say the right words and move the wand the right way, and it works.
Exactly.
Okay, I'm gonna say 2 words, and you tell me on a scale of 1 to 10 how tilted you are. Are you ready? Are you ready?
Go.
Time turners.
I don't even know if I want to care anymore.
What's
It's
time
just-
turners? I'm curious.
They're basically time travel things.
That
Like-
apparently a child can be given to save the world with, but only one time, because you can't use it these other times because reasons.
It's just a plot hole.
Reasons being unexplained.
Yeah, she's not good at plugging plot holes at
Oh
all.
my god.
That being said, I'm really excited for that new leaked Harry Potter RPG. I think that looks great.
Yeah,
there was
because they were forced to operationalize the fucking system.
When your system's really broken, it just makes things hard to make in the future.
Yep.
Yeah. So it's
I
just a bit.
Like setting all this
Of
stuff up for my world that I'm writing in makes it easier to write in this world in the future.
Mhm. For me, it's always frustrating because in the back of my head with the Harry Potter films and other, I guess, more Western like magic films, they're visually very impressive, but the fact that nothing went into making it takes all that impression away. It's like, oh right, cool, but what did it do? How did you just do that? It always just boils down to this statement: you just magicked it. Like, but
Yeah.
what is it?
You know, a good foundation also makes for very good fan theories as well.
Yes, like Full Metal Alchemist has such a solid foundation from the get-go.
Yes.
You're like, oh shit, his entire body's fucking gone.
Yeah.
His arm and leg are fucking gone. All because they tried to get their mom back. And that's the start of the damn series.
You can
I had to
like,
pay that. Yeah.
honest-
I think
Honestly-
I've been daydreaming a game system around that for years at this point.
or you lose parts of your body in order to perform actions. That doesn't sound.
What if you lose?
No,
your feet?
I'm just thinking about
Just
alchemy. Just literally just translating their alchemy into a game and balancing it.
What
I
if
love
you
the-
lose
I-
game functions? Oh no.
No, one thing I thought was interesting that the actual anime doesn't do, but I always thought the way Colonel Mustang started his fire was with like sound.
Yeah,
that
it
was
was
actually.
hard.
No, I love the idea of like sonic energy being translated into like thermal energy. Like the kinetics of that actually gets, I guess, transmuted into something that's heat based.
It makes more sense than Harry Potter.
Yeah.
See,
Fun world to go to. Just don't go into too many details.
what was that spell that they use constantly? That was
Oh
that
yeah,
shot a small beam of light, and then it just hits people's hands to knock wands out of.
No.
Expelliarmus.
Yeah, it's just Expelliarmus. I think towards the very end of Harry Potter, like they had some very interesting spells in the very beginning, but closer towards the end, when all the professors and all the big hit wizards started getting involved, that's literally the only spell that they would use.
Oh gosh.
Well, they also toward the end of the series, they stopped like saying spells and they just did like
They just
beams
shot
of
them out, right?
energy from the fucking wall.
I actually kind of like that. I remember reading the
fine.
fiction. It's like, hey, they get so good they don't need to say it. I'm like, all right, that just is a sign of skill.
Yeah, I stopped trying to understand that system when they said all the kid had to do to kill someone was know 2 words and actually want to do it. And I was like, that's it? Are you serious right now? Like they even show it in the book when they're still like 13 or something. So clearly you can do it as a child. And that's when I was like, okay, I need to suspend more disbelief than I was up to this point.
And also, it doesn't tell you how they die. It's literally a make dead spell, but they fall still and die. Like
2 words.
it-
Make dead.
like there's it's make dead. Like literally. It would be so much more interesting if they told us how they died and what they feel when they die, and like the
I mean, I think it's just lazy in some ways because
Yeah,
there's so many. I don't know, maybe I watch too many horror films. It's so many creative ways to just kill someone.
Yeah, there's a lot of very creative ways you can kill someone, but then they make a spell that... I'm sure there are other spells that you can also say that'll like affect someone's brain and then probably kill them. But this spell literally just envelops them in green and they fall to the floor.
Oh, it is like spelling almost just makes things like move out of the way or jump.
See, I remember there's Hermione used this spell called Bombarda to blow off this lock for Sirius Black. If you use that in someone's head, I guess they would also explode and die, you know? Like, there's so many spells that can kill people, but they decide to invent a spell that literally just kills people. Like, it's so boring. There's so much creative freedom with spells that can do anything, but you have one that just kills. It's like there's a lot of ways you can cook things, right? Like you can light a fire and you could probably summon a wok to float around and then cook that with that fire. But then what if you made a spell that was Cookus Pookus and then it just made a plate of vegetables into a plate of stir fry?
I would say that sounds like Harry Potter.
Yeah, that's Harry Potter, dude. That just defeats the whole fucking purpose of spells. Like Wingardium Leviosa, and like I'm pretty sure there's a fire making spell. You can make so much shit happen with all those spells, like combined, or you can probably make some. Like you can. There's an endless supply of imagination.
Yeah, well, let's compare and contrast it against another one that's unclear but far superior, which is Avatars.
Oh yeah.
Because Avatar isn't like a system that is easy to, understand the trade-offs inherently itself either. But it is a lot more scalable and makes a lot more sense in terms of how they explain it than Harry Potter. Because Harry Potter is like, here's what these words and this one movement does, and it's an equation. Avatar was much more, it's an art form, here's how to improve, but there are also other ways to do it.
There's also, I think what you said is very true, is scope. And in order to achieve that scope, you have to, achieve something. Harry Potter, you literally read a book, you know the words, and you're done. You have that wand and you're done. I think Avatar has a sense of progression. You have to hit a certain level to do that.
A mastery, you mean?
Yeah, like mastery level. Exactly. Yeah. That's for most everything, anything that has some sort of writing, where you have a protagonist and an antagonist. Antagonist has to be strong. Protagonist has to get better and better to fight antagonists. It feels like Harry literally learned like spells, and
he read a book.
Yeah, he read a few books, and he got maybe more mature himself as a character. But skill-wise, it didn't feel very progressive for him.
And also, all it comes down to in the end is him being born on the destined day or whatever, and having a prophecy about himself, which apparently makes his spells, which are the same spells as everyone else, magically work on Voldemort when other people's would not.
Yeah, that's a depresso espresso.
I also don't like the weird eugenics thing going on there. If like, I don't know, like certain people have, like, because of their bloodline, have magic and don't. I just don't like eugenics in general.
Yeah, like kind of in Naruto, when Sasuke's family has like the best eyeballs. One of my friends summarized it very well. He's like, at the end of the day, Naruto is all about the eyeballs. Like, literally every clan, see, they have bloodlines, but the strongest bloodlines always end up being the people with eyeballs, with special eyeballs. Like. And then at the very end of the day, if we look at current Boruto, Naruto's son, and Hinata, with the I forgot.
Eyeball people.
He has special eyeballs too.
Yeah, the Byokugen eyeball. Like, he has it, and then he evolves his eyeball into another special eyeball, and he learns from the eyeball master Sasuke.
You're forgetting like the biggest hand-wavy part of Boruto, which is they now have science, but instead of electricity, they use chakra to power it, which lets them be as arbitrary as they fucking want to, empowering literally any tool ever.
Yes, that's problematic. That was the most problematic thing that they introduced into Boruto. When Boruto got this gauntlet that made purple electricity,
oh god,
because science. Like that's a big plot hole, man. Holy shit.
Yeah, but even Naruto is better than Harry Potter because there are other bloodlines and people without bloodlines who are still very, very powerful and can at least, hang with the people with eyes. Whereas in Harry Potter, no one can do anything to Voldemort except for him everywhere.
That is just a law of the world.
You could also really tell that Naruto, is getting stronger because he gets the living shit beat out of him constantly. Whereas Harry Potter, like, he watches his friends die a lot, but personally, I don't think he goes through a lot of,
His training doesn't seem like his existence.
Yeah,
he does like severe PTSD, and it's completely glossed over.
Yeah, he watches a lot of people die. Like, really, it really does.
Naruto, like, let's talk about how they improve, because Harry just learns new spells and figures out how to solve them. Naruto gets different types of power-ups. Like, he's like, oh, I can use my clones to do this thing that I can't do myself. Like, that's inventive. That's not just a hand-wavy, oh, now he can use this huge ball of energy. It's like, no, he's too shitty to do that, but he found this workaround.
See, yeah, he has multiple spells, yeah, and he gets creative with them, whereas Harry uses the spells one by one, like, without kind of considering the fact that they could probably be used together.
Right?
Yeah, and the way he beats someone, like, I think if Naruto used the Rasengan straight up on someone like, let's just say Pain, like, let's say if he just used Rasengan straight up on him, maybe it kills him, but what's to say that another character can't kill him with Rasengan as well, like Jiraiya? Like, if it were Harry Potter logic, his Rasengan would just be indefinitely stronger simply because he's stronger as a person because of genetics.
Well, I think another great example for this is My Hero. If you guys are familiar, because there's a ton of powers on that should be hand wavy, but they're not. Instead, it's all about how to use them cleverly.
Yes.
Right. The last episode of the last season basically went into that.
Where's the show? I read the manga.
Just got into the kid that looks like Ike. His face.
No.
Even the guy that goes through walls
is less hand wavy than fucking Harry Potter.
I like how everyone just started to talk shit about Harry Potter. I feel very justified.
It's so, like, I don't think Harry Potter as a franchise is terrible.
It's not a shonen. Harry Potter is not a shonen.
Well, there are plenty of shonens that are shit at having like actual stakes because the power levels just arbitrarily increase. We're using the good ones as example.
Yeah.
Because you could say Bleach is a lot like Dragon Ball. There's a lot of arbitrary power-ups. Whereas something like One Piece is more about, like, rock, paper, scissors. It's like this gum fruit is good against this gum fruit, 'cause duh. And this guy can turn to sand, but if you get him wet, then he'll be solid.
Fucked.
Like, clever things.
Yeah, like, I feel like the gums also have, the fruits are very linear powers. Like, it's very straightforward what you have, and then the only thing you can change about that is what you can do with it in relation to other things around you. Like,
so, and there is a stage of creativity required to
it's pretty much forced. Yeah, exactly. It's pretty much forced upon you. It's like Stans and JoJo. You're given one power, but then actually that's actually kind of wrong because JoJo.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Yeah, that's
JoJo has a lot of arbitrary shit.
Yeah. See, sometimes some stands have only one thing, but some stands for some reason have like 5 things.
Yeah.
So not all stands are born equal.
Okay, so bear with me here to make sure I'm getting this. So, I wrote a book to help me get into USC. It was not anything special. That's not why I'm mentioning it. But the main character could control ice. Not moisture, not water, particularly ice. Because I wanted to be clear about what he could do. And so one of the fights toward the end of the book, he tries to turn basically a rock user and turn him into a statue of ice. So he lures him into a very humid room, so he has more to work with in terms of the moisture in the air. So to me, that was a way of making it clear this is easier because of this. And not just saying, oh, he got stronger so he can do it to this strong dude. He can turn him into ice now. Like, I wanted to have an explanation that made sense.
Yeah, it's like, even if your character is linear and it ultimately becomes like a damn it, what's the term for it? It's like when you're just comparing power, you know? Just a power check. Yeah. When it becomes a power check, you have to show that there was progression to that particular power check. Like, initially, how did he get to that particular power level? Like, otherwise there's no incentive to watch people duke it out with each other. It kind of reminds me a little bit of Marvel films when, you know, people are punching each other in Marvel fights, and it doesn't feel like they're actually hurting each other up until the very climactic end where someone finds a way to kill the other person.
Can we have like just a second to talk about how amazingly the work that Infinity War did in terms of making everyone's powers make sense?
Like,
Infinity War?
specifically, go more into detail with that.
Yes.
Because there's a billion fucking heroes in that film. And even people using different tech, like Quill using space tech versus Tony and Earth tech. And he makes... The Russos made all of it work and make sense in terms of, oh, okay, this doesn't work against this. And this is why they couldn't beat Thanos, even though they had this person. Because making that make sense among a few people and one villain is already hard. Making it work across dozens of heroes and villains is next to impossible.
See, I felt like it was done very well for some characters, but other characters, they definitely underplayed a few of them. Like Doctor Strange, he should have been significantly more powerful, but he kind of just flopped over and got...
I thought he was...
Well, they dealt with that for... Sorry, I want to touch on that real quick.
No, go on.
So they dealt on that with two ways, because, right, in his film he'd ended by fighting a god. So they had to, you know, make it clear what he could and couldn't do pretty fast. So they did that in two ways. One, they made sure he didn't fight Thanos until Thanos had a lot of gems to actually fight him with. I think he had, 4 by then? Yeah, because he had to get 2 more. And then 2 with Ebony Maw, by far the strongest of the Black Order. And the first fucking fight of the entire film that doesn't have Thanos in it is basically Strange versus Maw.
That's true, but I think he did...
Strong? I actually did not.
Yeah, Maw
is fucking strong, dude.
Yeah, he's insanely powerful. But he had the Time Stone, he could have used it, and that's what I was so confused about. He's just like, I'm not going to use the Time Stone.
Oh, no, didn't you see? He tried to in the fight with Maw, and Maw restricted his movements to keep him from doing it.
Oh.
Basically, the reason...
It's a counter spell, essentially.
Well, no, he just kept him from using the symbol to unlock the spell. And their whole point is that Strange could have won if he'd used the stone from the start, but he was too arrogant and waited, and he waited too long.
Yeah, probably just did it. That's a great thing about Infinity War, I think. I think that was a time where everyone had to gauge each other's power levels. And for some people, it failed, like Strange versus Maw. That was when he gauged really incorrectly and got completely messed up, even though he had a stone.
In an in-character way.
Yeah, and then other people like, what's it called? Quill fighting Iron Man. That was an interesting way of watching them gauge each other's power levels as well. Like, I think Iron Man would definitely shit on Quill, but Quill made it look like they were very even.
Yeah, at least in terms of basic firepower.
Yeah. So
it was also pretty clear that Peter or Tony was much smarter than Peter.
Yeah, very much so.
But those are some great character moments, though, when you just see Tony just comprehending how much like an insufferable asshole Quill is.
But it's so funny, like seeing witty people meet witty people. I thought
it was a great pair up. I think I remember listening to when they were talking about
Strange and Tony are also pretty funny too.
Do you concur, Doctor? Oh man, that was so good.
They're a good match. I think the three of them, it was like the battle of the wits.
Oh, it was.
Tony,
It was
Quill, and Doctor Strange. The three of them were kind of just duking it out verbally.
Okay, I like your plan, and it's good. But hear me out. It's bad, and I should think of it, because then it'll be good.